Steamy. We're live. Are we live? Kind of looks like we might be alive. Hey, Melissa. How's it going? And we got Karen in the room. Can you all hear me okay? Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me now? Or is it muted? Let me see here. Can you hear me now? Cool. Glad you can hear me. We'll give it a minute or two, see if a few more people show up. Yeah, AC is going. It's already up to about 89. So I think today's high is supposed to be 93. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Uh, Last night was quite warm all night long. It didn't, I think we only got down to about 73 last night. So, yeah, it was quite warm. Although 73 is not bad compared to the 80s and 90s that we were in overnight. Yeah, I had a friend come in yesterday from Arizona, Lake Havasu area, and said that they have only gotten a couple of sprinkles this year, no rain at all. He decided he's had enough of 120-degree days with 115-degree nights, so he'll be out here for a while and helping out and volunteering with some of the ranch activities and ministry activities. So it'd be really nice to have him out here. I've got a ton of projects for around the ranch, so we've been looking over a bunch of projects and see what we can get done while he's here, and plan on some more projects to get done so we can continue to improve the ranch. Sharon Jackson, welcome. Cheers, guys. Must stay hydrated. Today is sweet tea with a little bit of lemon. Hi, Daniel. So So this week was kind of a slow week. Didn't find a whole lot of rocks in that. Out running around and walking around behind the animals. 87 in South Georgia right now. Yeah, the problem with South Georgia is it's humid. And that's one thing I don't know if I can handle anymore. I mean, when I go up to the Gila River and that in New Mexico, and when I go up to other places in New Mexico, I'm usually rock hounding around rivers and that. So it is quite humid. And I find that it can be a little tough on me at times. That and the altitude. So right next door in the next room, we've got a treadmill and a torture bike, I call it. It's one of those like stair climbing, cross country skiing workout machines. Don't know if I'm brave enough to get on it, but my birthday is Wednesday and I'll be 67. So in hopes of getting out in the spring on a trip or two, I'm going to start getting on the treadmill probably every other day and doing at least 2 miles to start and work my way up to at least 5 by spring, so I won't have any issues, especially if I go up to the Gila Wilderness area. 9,000 feet, you have to be ready. So yeah, I get to torture myself a little just to build up stamina and strengthen my legs some more. Hi, Liz. Thanks for coming. Yeah, let's see here. So this week, like I said, wasn't much. I found these 3 little tiny rocks. They were the only 3 that I had any interest in. There was a few others, but when I got them looking to them up close, I saw that they weren't. Come on now, focus, focus. It's going to be stubborn today. But this one's got a little chalcedony pocket inside there and a little bit of red jasper on the outside edge. But it's just a coating on the outside. It's not a solid red jasper like the one I found, what was it, last week, which is this guy right here. And actually, it's redder in person than it is on the camera. I'd like to find a few more like that. This one here, another little chalcedony pocket in there. And these will probably just end up as yard rocks. That's right, Karen's birthday is this month too. All of us important people have birthdays this month. Yeah, this one's kind of jaspery. Little bit of chalcedony. But yeah, nothing special this week. I mean, the weather has been so benign that there hasn't been a whole lot of yeah, you could say I have a rock garden. I've got a spot that ones that I'm not interested in cutting or doing anything with that I just toss all these little finds into. It's also a place when we have visitors that come to the ranch can look through, and if they see something they like, they can have it. And I've been going through a bunch of my boxes and stuff at the house, trying to do a selection of what I'm going to do this winter. By the way, I did bring my black light today, but nothing that I have today fluoresces. So that's a bummer. Of course, mine's just a cheapie. It's one of the little Chinese jobs with a few UV LEDs. Anybody ever wants to donate me a UV Beast, just send it on out. If you go in the description, you'll find my address in there. I'd be more than happy to have one. Would love to have one, have it on my wish list. My wish list compared to my income has some discrepancies, as I'm sure everybody's does. But one of the things I ran across was something that I had forgotten all about. A friend of mine about a year ago, let me adjust this camera and then we'll switch scenes, had a bunch of cabs that somebody had given them, that once they found out I was doing into rocks, that they decided that they'd give them to me and I could see what I could do with them. Well, y'all know me. The rounded cabs I am not really into. I like the unusual shapes. Kind of like this one that I got from Kyle, which was one of the Mexican native coppers. I like the odd shaped cabs. Now, some of these I could probably mess with and maybe cut them down or do some different shapes with them. But these are all, I mean, those are all completely dry and you can see the shine on them. Some of them are very nice specimens, very mossy. I mean, this one moss is like, you can see it's just, it's gorgeously mossy. Now, if I can get, there we go. Maybe that'll focus a little more. It's got some beautiful green moss in there. And I may keep that one and do something with it. But there's a lot of these that are a brown moss or a tan moss. Oops. Hello. That are really nice pieces. But I'm just not really into doing so much with those. I mean, I've got rocks sitting on my table right now that have been sitting here since I set this office up, and don't know what I'm going to do with some of them. Some of them I'm not going to do anything. They're going to stay as displays. Ah, cool. Thought this one was kind of interesting. It's almost like it's got like leaves inside of it. And a little bit of dendrites. And then we've got some petwood. And of course, nobody's collection is complete without some mahogany obsidian. They didn't know where these materials were from. It was ones that somebody gave to them because they said they liked rocks. So, what I am thinking is I will go through these and figure out what I want to keep and what I'm willing to part with. And on our Discord, let's see, it's Mineralogical Rockmas. Get in there and join. It's kind of a secret Santa, and we probably will officially, mistake me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's like in November. We will match up people, and I will probably send some of these caps, some rough, and some other things out to people. And if one of you mods can put up the Discord link, I'd appreciate it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to do a Secret Santa type program like that. And there's a few other things that I'm already looking at putting in. Of course, one of those will definitely be a couple of pieces of that rough script Jasper. And the rest of that is going to be going into a Tumblr next month. So we're going to see what happens with that. The rest of that is going to be going into a Tumblr next month. So we're going to see what happens with that script Jasper and how pretty it turns out and how well it tumbles. Probably tumble them rough, look at them, decide where to cut them down, and then tumble them into cabs. Maybe make some earrings and stuff like that out of them. But yeah, the rest of these, I'm going to package some of these up and they'll go out. And I'll probably throw in some to other freebies going out to other people. I actually found one of my boxes that was a whole entire box of fire agates. So, Karen, I hope to get a box sent out to you before too long. Yeah. Anybody else that wants to do any rock trades, like I said, if you go in the description and the about column, there's an address there. Anybody that sends me anything, I will definitely package you up a box and send it back. Do you have any petrified wood already turned to stone? What do you mean, Sharon? Because if it's pet wood, it's already stone. You mean like finished or cabbed? Oh, it just says the state. I will fix that. I am in West Texas, where we get our mail at. It's a little tiny town called Fabens. And I'm about 20 miles from Fabens. So we've got a pickup spot that drops off our UPS and FedEx because they're afraid they're going to tear their trucks up coming out where I'm at. We've got like 10 miles of blacktop road, and then it turns into bad goat trails, which is fine for goats. Not so fine on the vehicles. Oh, yeah. I actually picked up a piece from Kyle not long ago well, one of his last sales. That's a piece of pet wood. It's been polished on one end. Still has all of its grain in that. That gets to reside on my desk. But I've also got some pet wood from Arizona and some pet wood from places unknown. Yeah, believe me, keeping up our vehicles on our roads is a chore. Yeah, our roads can be extremely rough. One of the things that I do is I take the tractor out once in a while and have to blade the roads to try to get rid of some of the washboard out here. And this year, everything's kind of strange in that you blade the road and it's powdery because we've had almost no rain. We are now, mind you, we're in an area where we only get 10 to 12 inches of rain a year, and we're like 9 inches behind. And that's basically from the airport. Us ourselves out here on my weather station, I've only registered about an inch of rain this year. It was amazing when we had when that one live I did showed the flash flooding that we had that one day from that one rain that actually filled our stock pond, which had been dry since last October. Yeah, unfortunately, is one of the reasons why I haven't done a live down in the Arroyo, because everything's the same stuff I've already went over last time. We do find fossils in that. Most of it is brachiopods. Every once in a while, we'll find like a baculite or something like that. But for the most part, I can't think of what period they say they're from. But supposedly, and I haven't found any yet, but I'm still looking. And if we do get rain and we do get where the arroyos wash in that, I am going to go hunting because there's supposed to be an ancient buffalo that used to roam out here like millions of years ago. And their fossilized remains are supposed to be out here. From a person that actively hunts for them. I've only found a few arrowheads out here. There are some camps where Native Americans used to hang out when the Rio Grande was a little bit further north than what it is now, where they would do their spring camps. So I've got a few of the arrowheads, and we've also found pottery shards. And it's only about 10 miles from me where we find all this. There's also a big wash down there where there is a about a 2 to 3 foot section in the wash's wall that is nothing but book mica. I mean, like solid chunks. And someday, when I have a 4x4 available, I want to definitely go back down into that area and do some more hunting. But right now, we've only got one 4x4 at the ranch, and we need that for doing all of our runs, for picking up feed for the animals and everything else. So I don't really want to take a chance on anything happening to it because it is a primary vehicle for the ranch. Sorry for the 20 questions. Hey, no problem. Can't find nothing out unless you ask. And this is a ministry ranch, and I am a minister, which some of you know, some of you may not. So, yeah, we do various kinds of work with various different people, people with all kinds of backgrounds that want to get their lives straightened out again. Oh, I hear you, Daniel. I'm not sure exactly what all of Texas rules are, but like picking up oceanic fossils, I don't have a problem with that. And so far, nobody has said anything to me about that. So I'll keep doing it and I'll keep collecting them because, I mean, it's just like what we found the week before, these chronoid imprints. Let's see, I got to switch cameras. I found these out in the pasture. And I'm not certain one of these, actually, I think the end of the chronoid is still sticking in there. And eventually I will see if I can't polish that out and get a close up of it. I know there are some areas where you're not allowed to keep any bone fossils. In Texas, you can find different shells and gastropods and that kind of all over the state in various areas. So I don't think they have any problem with that. Now, finding anything that would be like a unique specimen, especially bone wise, they would probably want to be involved in that. But I understand you need to know what the limits are in your state. I wouldn't want anyone to get in trouble with their state for collecting anything. I know Theo has said they're not allowed to take bone up there. From dinosaurs. And then again, you've got places like Alaska where they actually actively hunt for mammoth. So Pioneer Paulie had a segment where he went up to Alaska and they were finding mammoth bone that wasn't fossilized. It was in the permafrost. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, just stay aware when you're out and about. I always keep my eyes open for any kind of claims, especially when I'm in New Mexico rock hunting. There are so many areas that are claimed, and you don't want to be claim jumping. Um, that's cool, Daniel, but it's also cool to actually hang on to some of those. I think it'd be a neat addition to a collection. Just make sure you're not doing it illegally. I know Texas does have some rules that kind of sound strange. I know if you find an skull of an owl, you cannot keep it in the state of Texas. You have to turn it in. You're also not allowed to have eagle feathers or hawk feathers. Something to do with the Bureau of Indian Affairs deal for Native Americans. But stay safe, know what the rules are, respect other people's property. Anytime I go out hunting, I'm usually on public lands. Um, there are some different rules about that also. Uh, and I'm not an expert, but there are ways where you can take minerals from public lands and work them to a certain extent and resell them. But check into it. Yeah, the eagle feather thing is a federal deal. Um, I think actually the hawk is too, and possibly the owl skulls also. Um, it really depends on the area and what the laws are for that area. So stay aware, stay safe. Um, you don't want to end up on the bad side of the law, no matter what. And oh yeah, always get permission. Always get permission. And there's plenty of people who will give you permission, and then again, there's plenty of people that they got no trespassing signs posted every 50 or 100 feet or whatever the state law requires. You probably will want to avoid them. At least you don't want to go on their property to ask permission. You might be able to find out who they are, or, almost all of them will have a mailbox out front. You can always drop them a postcard and see if they'd give you permission. Never can tell. They might be interested in what's on their land, or they may be a landowner who's a rockhound mineralologist, a geologist, or such, and have that land for their own recovery. So, yeah, private property and claims are the things that I actually usually go up on mine data, and I can look at claims in New Mexico, especially if it's an area that I've been to before. Even though it may be on BLM land, it could still be a claimed mine or a claimed mineral area. So always check into those things, check in with the state. There is an app I use. I couldn't tell you what it is right off the top of my head at the moment. But yeah, you can go up. There are apps where you can get into your state, and it'll actually flag anything that is a current mining claim or mineral claim, and you can go in there and see where the area is. Personally, I would just stay away from the area if at all possible. Um, there are some areas in New Mexico where I got fluorite one year, and when I checked, I was going to go up and do a little bit more in the area because all I was finding was surface pieces. So most of those were bleached out unless they were like under a tree. Um, the next year I was going to go up there and somebody had filed a mineral claim in that area. So I could not go back to that spot. Um, but hey, there's plenty of spots in the Gila Wilderness that are not claimed where I go. So yeah, it's it can be a lucrative or interesting adventure. If it's an area you can find out when that claim is going to expire and possibly be ready to file a claim when it comes up for renewal. Especially if you know it's an area that has good, interesting um, mineral samples. I know AZ, Arizona, Rockhound Adventures, I think it is, or Expeditions. Expeditions. They actually have claims in certain spots in Arizona to go collect minerals, um, which is cool. I mean, they sell trips to take you up there, and I haven't been on any of their trips, nor have I been invited to go. I usually don't go to Arizona. There are a couple places I'd like to go to in Arizona, but it's primarily whether or not I can actually fund the trips, you know. Um, yeah, but if you find an area that has interesting stuff, you can always look to see if you can file a claim to collect minerals on that property. It's yours, and you can sell it, do with it as you wish. Um, don't ask me how much it cost. I have no idea. Um, the other thing, I don't know how many people have been up on the Discord and saw fur babies. So these are the new brats at the ranch. They're both females. The one with the white on her chest, that's Cuddles. She's the one that as soon as you sit down, she's up on your lap and she's laying down and she just wants attention. The other one is way more mischievous and adventurous, as you kind of tell just by the way he's sitting there. Um, that is Zippy. That's the one where he goes from zero to flat out and will keep going in circles, climbing on everything, getting into everything. Uh, he's the one that I have to keep a water spray bottle around for. But they're sisters. They're 10 or 11 weeks old now. And they'll be new ranch kitties. To me, every baby animal there is just so cute. I don't know if you've seen the shots of the goats or the shorts that I put up with the goats. Um, Kittens are absolutely adorable. Baby goats are adorable. There's even some of the baby cows that happen to come around from time to time that are actually really cute. I actually started out rock collecting when I was a kid. Um, Not so much arrowheads but there was a place in Central Texas called Marble Falls, and next to it was a place called Granite Shoals. And basically, they mined marble and granite there, and that kind of got me into it. And then some people that I wasn't related to, but I called them aunt and uncle, would take me on summer trips to give my mom a break, which is understandable. She needed a break after putting up with me for a year. But they would take me out and we would go to different places. I've been to like Kitticut Copper Mine. We would go to different places. I've been to like Kitticut Copper Mine, Santa Teresa Mine, um, and all different places in Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. It's one of the reasons that I fell in love with New Mexico. Not that I would want to live there. They have a lot of their own issues. But as far as a place to go and explore, to go back in the wilderness and relax, where you're not going to do a live stream. You either record it and edit it, or because there's no signal. Unless you want to take your own Starlink or something like that, you couldn't do a live. And I think I would get too distracted when I went out in the wilderness if I had all that going on. Um, my short videos that are up on my channel, um, those were times when I consciously had to make the decision, okay, I need to film some of this. Otherwise, I would have spent a whole week there and never filmed any of it, especially when I'm down along the river and I'm rock hounding and that. You could probably tell by some of the rock reviews where I've just showed what I found for the day, that I didn't actually have everybody down on the river and, doing like Theo and some others do, where they walk along and squirt it with water and show it to you. And yeah, I don't know. I probably could do some of that stuff. Probably should do some of that stuff. Might make the channel grow. But yeah, when I'm out there in an area like that, I'm out there because I want to disconnect. I want to enjoy what's going on around me. I want to enjoy the wildlife, enjoy the scenery. And do a reboot. It's important. Thank you, Karen. Yeah. To be able to go out in the wilderness and walk a dry riverbed, like I do, looking for the Apache tears in the one spot that I go to. The people are very friendly. I've actually had landowners say, hey, you can find more stuff if you go over here, and invite me to go over there. And I go over there, but I can't get there. It'd be cool to have an RV that was 4-wheel drive where I could get there. But the van that I travel in it's a glorified van camper. So it's there's a fossil spot that I want to go to in New Mexico that you're allowed to collect at, and it's not accessible unless you have 4-wheel drive to get back into that area. It's one of the areas where I would love to go find some trilobite and actually collect some myself. Although if you're in New Mexico, be careful because it is now not legal in New Mexico to collect petrified wood. I found that out 2 years ago. So it's a shame. I found that out, and I'd been waiting for a piece to weather out from the side of a hill. And it was a nice full round. It was about 8 inches in diameter. And the last time I went out there, I went by there just to see if it was still there or not. And somebody had, looks like they probably used a pick or a hammer drill and broke it out. And it was gone. I'm pretty sure they didn't care that there was a moratorium on collecting petrified wood in New Mexico. There is also some other places that I would like to go in northern New Mexico where there's it's a place that's known to the locals as Obsidian Falls. That is an area that is absolutely full of silver sheen, mahogany, and Apache tears. It's up by the Albuquerque, Santa Fe region. But there's also other trips that I would like to do this next year. I'd love to go over by White City, New Mexico, and go collect some of the Pecos diamonds. Especially interested in trying to find some of the double terminated of those. There's so many awesome places, so many awesome minerals. And plus, it's just good to get out and away from your day in and day out, whether it is your home, your farm, your ranch, your work, the hustle and bustle of the city, or for those of us who aren't in the city, sometimes going to town can actually be a change that is not always pleasant, but it's makes you realize and understand what you have and what's available to you. I have 2 ammonite fossils. One of them is an ammonite that, and by no means am I plugging these guys, but there's a place called Gems by Mail or Mail Order Gems. And they had some cut ammonites from Indonesia, and I picked up some of those. But I have one that I collected in North Texas. That is probably 5 inches in diameter, and I haven't fully cleaned it up yet. So eventually it'll be cleaned up and I'll make a stand for it and it'll sit in a shelf. Back over here in this corner, I'm planning on putting in some of those corner shelves and we'll have stuff displayed on that. And then got some ideas, but haven't done anything yet. As far as the office goes, you can tell there's still tools sitting over here on my workbench. So things are still coming together. The underneath side of the workbench, you can see a mail order envelope there, and there's more stuff down underneath. So trying to get everything all put together and straightened out and get things ready for doing some serious tumbling and cutting in that this fall when it cools down. I'll probably do live cuttings and we'll probably do more lives, reveals in that. If we ever get a rain where the arroyos do flash flood, I will do some lives going out and seeing what we can find. Hey, Chris, welcome. Glad you could join us. But yeah. So, like I said, some of these will go into the Secret Santa. And I will also be willing to do some rock trades. I've got tons upon tons of rough material. A lot of it is BLM finds, a lot of seam agate, and things like that I will definitely toss in if anybody wants to do trades. Made you an amethyst. That's cool, Sharon. Sorry, I had to stop and read. I need to find a way to kind of pull things together, you know. But it's all a transition. I mean, I started off with nothing but the webcam. Now I'm using the webcam and my phone, using a cool program called XSplit Broadcaster and XSplit Cam on my phone, which allows me to use my phone as the camera and the broadcaster. I can mix it in and set up scenes and put all that together. I've looked at some of the other stuff and some of the other software, other types of camera gear. I've got several different types of camera gear that are available to me. It's most of the time it's more of a hassle. That's cool, Sharon. I've actually had some kids that found stuff here on the ranch and gave it to me because they knew I liked rocks. Somehow I've got to get myself another, and I'm looking at buying another of the Thumler 12-pound rotary tumbler because I have probably 30 to 40 pounds. I think I've got 2 5-gallon buckets full of rocks that I've picked up around the ranch and down in the arroyo and other places that I want to tumble and see what's there. Then I've got my little 3-pounders, which I'll be firing up. Just a tip, guys. During the wintertime, you can tumble rocks, and you can do it in your garage or outdoors or in a shed. But instead of putting water in there, which can freeze and cause damage, I use the RV water tank antifreeze. It will not freeze. We use it in some of our water cooled compressors that we have here at the ranch. It's the best way to do it during the wintertime. You know, you don't have to listen to that rock tumbler going crazy in your closet all night long. I just, yeah, fall and winter, it gives me something to do to keep my mind busy and to keep me busy so that I'm not just bugging about every little thing that I have to do on the coming spring. You've got turquoise, malachite, emerald, carnelian, labradorite, abalone. I'm thinking you're saying aventurine, amethyst, quartz, sodalite, lapis lazuli, white howlite, red tiger eye, blue tiger eye, and golden tiger eye. I think I've got just about all of those, with the exception of the abalone. I don't have any abalone shell. And I've actually got some serpentine that I picked up not long ago, too. And you talk about malachite. This is one of my desk stands. That's a nice chunk. That was a big piece that I picked up from one of Kyle's sales. And it'll be nice next month when Kyle starts doing sales again. I do enjoy watching his sales. I may have to adjust times that I do lives because of it. White howlite. I believe I do up at the house. I don't have any down here at the office. I also have some meerschaum that I picked up. I have a place that I want to go the next time I go to New Mexico that was an old meerschaum mine that right now is no longer under a claim. So I want to go check that place out. Now, meerschaum originally was used and carved into ornate pipes, smoking pipes. And at one point in time, meerschaum, depending on its quality and its pure whiteness, in other words, with no inclusions, was actually more expensive per ounce than gold. Which was kind of amazing to me, you know. Everybody is all about the gold. I'm more all about the silver. I always keep my eyes open in New Mexico because there was a lot of silver mining there. Hence, the primary area I go to is outside of Silver City. Lots of malachite, chrysocolla, azurite. Of course, there's gold, but there's also silver in the area too. There was quite a few areas in New Mexico when you go into certain spots, especially any kind of cave formations or old mining dumps, take a black light with you. If you don't have a Geiger counter, take a black light. New Mexico at one time had dozens of uranium mines. You want to be careful what material you grab. I know one guy who picked up probably 2 5-gallon buckets full of some beautiful azurite and azurite, malachite, chrysocolla, agates. He picked up some lead that he found in the area that had traces of silver in it, actual silver veins inside the rock. And when he got home, somebody told him something about that area was also an area where they mined uranium. And he borrowed a Geiger counter from a friend, went out, and both of those buckets were hot. Short term, non-dangerous, but long term, yeah. He ended up taking both buckets back to that area, went further back into the mine carefully, found a hole, an ore chute, and dumped both buckets down the ore chute. So be careful, be aware of what's in your area. We don't need anybody to end up with radiation sickness and the things that go along with that. It's not anything that I would wish on anybody. Yeah, just not a good thing. So yeah, UV lights. I take UV light with me. I've actually got a UV laser, ultraviolet laser, where I can go into like the entrance of a cave, and I can shine back in and be able to see back into the cave a couple of 100 feet with my UV laser and see if anything pops up bright green or green to a very bright yellowish gold. Just got to be careful. Anybody wants to send me one of those new little pocket radiometers, I would gladly accept that too. Part of me would like to check some of the stuff that I've already collected. But yeah, I'm going to be 67 in a few days, and I'm healthy, and I thank the Lord for that. I'll keep doing what I'm doing as long as I can. And I hope you all will do the same. Unless anybody has any questions or anything. Thank you, Chris. I think we're going to call this the end of a broadcast. I thank all of you for coming up here. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you feel like it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate the birthday wishes. 67, I'm just, as the gamer in me, I'm just leveling up, that's all. I'm not getting older. I'm just leveling up. And I'll keep going as long as I can. It's been nice visiting with y'all. I'm glad you all came up. And I thank you all for coming in. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, you all have yourselves a great day. Cheers in Steinkern. And Karen's got a live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. Is that right, Karen? I believe it's 7 p.m. Pacific time, not Eastern time, Pacific time. And we'll see y'all up there. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Okay. Karen says 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right, cool. So y'all have yourselves a great day and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get out, get some sunshine, enjoy life. See y'all.